You wake up tired. You go through your day tired. And even when you finally lie down at night, you're not sure if it's rest or just your body giving up for a few hours. People ask, "Are you okay?" And you say, "Just tired." But that's not the whole truth, is it? Because this isn't the kind of tired that sleep can fix. It's not about ours. It's not about naps. It's not even about work. It's a deeper kind of tired, a quiet ache behind your ribs, a dull heaviness in your chest that follows you even on good days. You've had moments of peace, but they don't last. You smile, you show up, you try. But underneath it all, you're still carrying something. Maybe it's the weight of pretending. Maybe it's years of holding everything together when no one else did. Maybe it's grief that has no name, or fear that you can't explain, or a loneliness that never fully goes away. You keep functioning, you keep pushing, you check off the to-do list, and still you feel worn out. Not just in your muscles, but in your spirit. That kind of tired is invisible. It doesn't show up on medical tests. It doesn't earn you a day off. But it's real, and it matters. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're not broken. You are simply carrying more than any one person was meant to carry alone. So if you've been wondering, why am I always so tired? This video is not here to give you a productivity hack. It's here to offer something gentler, a space to breathe, a moment of understanding, a reminder. You are allowed to be tired. You don't have to explain it to anyone. You don't have to carry it alone forever. We often treat tiredness like a battery problem. Just rest more, sleep more, recharge. But what if the exhaustion you feel isn't coming from your body at all? What if it's coming from your mind, from your heart, and the part of you that's been holding your life together with quiet, invisible effort? There's a kind of tired that no amount of sleep can fix. A kind of tired that lives in your soul, not your muscles. You can sleep 8 hours, still wake up weary. Because your fatigue isn't physical, it's emotional, psychological, existential. You're not tired because you didn't sleep. You're tired because you've been pretending you're okay when you're not. You've been swallowing emotions just to keep peace. You've been carrying stress like armor 24/7. You've been living in survival mode, not rest mode. Not a battery issue. That's a burnout of the soul. And here's what makes it worse. You probably blame yourself for it. You think you're lazy or weak or dramatic because no one ever told you there are different types of tired. Some tiredness needs a nap, but some tiredness needs kindness. A kind word, a long cry, permission to let go. A space where you can stop trying to be fine. The next time you feel exhausted, don't just ask, "Did I sleep enough?" Ask, "Where in my life am I overextending myself emotionally? What am I carrying alone? When was the last time I felt safe enough to relax completely?" Because not all rest is about sleep. Sometimes rest is about truth, about finally admitting, "I am tired of pretending." Most people don't understand why they're so tired. They look for simple answers. Maybe I need more sleep. Maybe I need vitamins. But this tiredness, it's not physical. It's not even logical. It's the weight of living without rest for your heart. Let's talk about where that weight comes from. Not the obvious things, but the quiet, hidden causes of soul exhaustion. 1. Emotional labor. This is the exhaustion that comes from constantly managing how others feel. You're always smoothing things over, calming people down, laughing even when it's not funny. You become the peacekeeper, the strong one, the emotionally safe one. But inside, you're screaming for someone to take care of you for once. 2. Decision fatigue. You make 1,000 tiny decisions a day. What to wear, what to say, how to respond, what to hide. what to let slide. For people who've experienced trauma, even small choices feel loaded. You second-guess everything. Will they be upset if I say no? What if I choose wrong again? Your brain becomes a battlefield instead of a compass. 3. Suppressed emotions. Every time you push away a feeling, it doesn't disappear. It goes somewhere, and it waits. The sadness you swallowed, the anger you buried, the grief you postponed, all of it stacks up like emotional debt, and you're paying the interest with your energy. For hyper-independence, you don't ask for help. You don't say you're struggling, because somewhere deep down, you believe that needing others is dangerous. So you do everything alone. All the decisions, all the feelings, all the weight, until one day your body gives out before your pride does. 5. Constant vigilance. You never really relax. Even when nothing's wrong, your body stays on alert, waiting, watching, because life has taught you, don't let your guard down or you'll get hurt. So even in peaceful moments, you're tense, preparing for pain that hasn't even happened yet. These are just a few of the reasons. You feel tired all the time, not because you're weak, but because you've been surviving too long without anyone noticing. If you've been wondering, why am I so exhausted, even when life looks okay? Maybe it's because you've been fighting silent battles that no one else can see. And maybe now it's time for your body to rest. But more importantly, maybe it's time for your heart to be held. Instead of always holding everything, there's a quiet pain that comes not just from being tired, but from believing you shouldn't be. I have a roof over my head, a job, food. I should be grateful. Other people have it worse. I'm just being dramatic, so you don't rest. You don't slow down. You don't ask for support. Because you've been taught that exhaustion is a weakness, that struggle is failure, that rest must be earned. You measure your worth by how much you produce. You measure your value by how little you complain. You believe that being tired means you're not trying hard enough. But here's the truth. No one taught you. You can be tired and still be strong. You can need rest and still be worthy. You can have enough and still feel empty. Your pain does not need to be compared to someone else's in order to be valid. You are allowed to feel what you feel, even if others have it harder, even if your life looks fine, even if no one else sees it. Shame tells you, you don't deserve to be tired. Compassion says, you've carried so much, of course you're tired. Imagine if you could speak to yourself the way you'd speak to someone you love. Would you say, you're lazy, you're overreacting, get it together? Or would you say, I see how much you've held in. You don't have to keep pushing. It's okay to stop now. You don't need permission to rest. But in case no one has said it, you have it. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to soften. You don't have to earn your peace. You're not broken for feeling worn down. You're human. And you've done so much for so long with so little support. No wonder you're tired. No wonder it hurts to admit it out loud. Most people think rest is about stopping, about lying down, closing your eyes, and doing nothing. But real rest is deeper than that. It's not just about what you don't do. It's about what you finally let go of. Rest is the moment you stop performing, and you take off the mask and no longer try to prove anything. It's the moment your body isn't just still, but your mind is finally safe enough. To stop spinning, there are many kinds of rest. And some of them you didn't even know you needed. 1. Rest from being strong all the time. You don't always have to hold it together. Let yourself be soft. Let the tears come. Let someone else be the strong one. Just for a while, to rest from people pleasing. You don't owe everyone a smile. You don't have to explain yourself. You are allowed to disappear for a moment to return to yourself. 3. Rest from performing productivity. You are not a machine. You don't exist to earn rest by exhausting yourself first. You can rest simply because you are alive, because your body asks for it, because you matter, even when you're doing nothing. For rest from fixing yourself, you are not a project. You don't need to constantly improve. Some days, healing looks like effort. But some days, healing looks like drinking tea slowly, watching the sky change, letting your scars breathe. 5. Rest from noise. Silence can feel scary at first, but it's also where your soul speaks. Turn off the noise, even for a few minutes. Listen to your breath, not to fix it, just to hear it. That's rest too. Rest isn't something you earn when you've done enough. It's something you give yourself because you're human, because your nervous system is tired of surviving all the time. So next time you feel that deep exhaustion, don't ask, how do I push through this? Ask, what am I still trying to carry alone? And then gently, quietly, put one thing down. Maybe it's the expectation to always be cheerful. Maybe it's the pressure to have it all figured out. Maybe it's the voice that tells you you're only valuable when you're useful. You don't need to be useful right now. You just need to be, to exist, to take up space, to breathe, to let this moment be enough. That's the kind of rest that heals. It's not because it changes everything, but because it gives you permission to be you without apology. Let me say something you might have never heard before. You're allowed to be tired. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to compare it. You don't need to justify why you're not fine. You are not a failure for needing rest. You're not broken because your energy runs out. In fact, needing rest is a sign that you've been trying, that you've been showing up, even when it was hard, that you've been holding space for others, for responsibilities, for emotions you didn't ask for. That takes effort, takes heart, that takes more than anyone sees. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is admit that you're worn out. We live in a world that idolizes hustle, glamorizes burnout, and shames softness. But you're allowed to be soft. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to say, I'm not okay right now. Not to give up, but to give yourself space. Space to feel, space to breathe. Space to be a human being, not a machine in constant motion. You don't always have to grow. You don't always have to rise. You don't always have to make the most of everything. Sometimes making it through the day is enough. Sometimes sitting with your tiredness without judgment is the most radical act of self-respect. You are not behind. You are not weak. You are simply someone who has carried so much for so long without rest. And now you are learning to put it down. Not all at once, not perfectly, but gently, moment by moment, breath by breath. So tonight, when the tiredness comes again, don't fight it. Don't resent it. Let it be a whisper. You've done enough today. You don't have to carry everything right now. You can rest here. Let it remind you. You don't need to be more in order to be enough. You already are. This is quiet philosophy, where thinking isn't loud, and life doesn't need to be either. Subscribe if you haven't already, not for noise, but for something you can actually feel.